Hi, this is Tattoo Tony playing my theme song. Enjoy. Hey guys, this is Tattoo Tony, and I'm getting ready to get on the old Chain of Rocks bridge from the Illinois side. This used to be an old bridge that was along Route 66. You can see the sign right here. Along with exploring abandoned buildings, I also like to check out Americana and stuff that has to do with Route 66, roadside attractions. Welcome to Route 66, Illinois. Route 66, the Mother Road, is an American icon that symbolizes romance and freedom of the open road.
Hey guys, this is Tattoo Tony, and we're going to go across this abandoned historic bridge called the Chain of Rocks Bridge that is part of Route 66 history forever. I'm going to tell you about the history and also about some terrible murders that happened on this bridge in the spring of 1991. So just stick with me, and you'll hear some commentary on the bridge that I made just about details. You'll hear the background noise of walking, and I will also do my best to fit in the information that I have surrounding the murders. This was a big news story for a long time in my area. In any case, the events of April 4th and 5th of 1991. On the night of April 4th, the morning of April 5th, 20-year-old Julie Carey and 19-year-old Robin Carey and their 19-year-old cousin Thomas Cummins were on the Chain of Rocks Bridge over the Mississippi River. Gray, Antonio Richardson, Reginald Clemens, and Daniel Winfrey went to the bridge that night together. The two groups, who did not know each other, had a brief conversation. Gray showed the other group how to climb down a manhole cover on the bridge down to the pier. Then the two groups separated. By the way, I'm going to show the manhole covers, so stay tuned. You'll see me looking at the bridge and see a manhole cover. The prosecution's version of events are like this. According to testimony, several minutes later, the group of four men decided to rob the three. Winfrey testified that Gray said he felt like hurting somebody. They returned, and Gray told Cummins, "This is a robbery. Get down on the ground." The two girls were grabbed and held on the ground. Richardson held Julie down while Clemens raped her, and then the two swapped positions. Gray, Richardson, and Clemens then alternately raped Robin and Julie. Cummins was then robbed of his wallet, wristwatch, cash, and keys. The three victims were forced down the manhole cover to the concrete pier. The two Carey sisters then were pushed, and Cummins jumped as instructed. Medical witnesses testified that Cummins and Julie Carey survived the 48-foot, 15-meter fall to the water below. Cummins testified that after surfacing, the current pulled him over to Julie, but then she drifted off after he began to drown. Cummins swam to shore and survived. The body of Julie Carey was found 3 weeks later near Caruthersville, Missouri. The body of Robin Carey was not found. One of the gentlemen, who I believe was prosecuted, and again, there's a lot of contention in this. There's been retrials. This is carried on into the 2000s. You can find, if you look up Reginald Clemens, you'll find a lot of information about his retrial in that he had coerced testimony. You'll find it on the internet. I'm not saying who I believe was correct, who was telling the truth. I'm just giving you the details I have. Gray's version of events was very different. In an interview in 2005, he said, after parting from the group of three, Gray went to a car where he smoked marijuana while Richardson went to retrieve a flashlight stolen by Richardson from a police officer's residence. He had left the bridge. Gray returned to the bridge 30 minutes later to find that the girls and their cousin were gone. Richardson said that Cummins had said the girls had slipped off the bridge, but thought the authorities would not believe this story. Cummins was then robbed by the men of his belongings. This version, given by Gray at his trial, was different, and also differs from what police said that he told them in his initial interview. One returning after 30 minutes in the car on returning after 30 minutes in the car, Clemens informed him that, man, I just robbed the guy and threw him and the girls in the river.
If I have time, I'll look it up. Otherwise, look up the Chain of Rocks Bridge, double homicide, murder, stay of execution, something like that. And you ought to be able to find the story. Just an interesting little side story that goes along with this.
Police initially refused to believe Thomas Cummins' version of the events. They theorized that the other men never existed and that he made up the story to cover up his attempted rape of the cousins. They believed Julie had fallen off the bridge while resisting his sexual advances. Robin had jumped in to save her, and both had drowned. Thomas was initially charged with murder, but released due to lack of evidence. He later won a settlement from the St. Louis.
I go all kinds of cool places. I film a lot of abandoned buildings in St. Louis that were built in the 1800s. A lot of cool stuff, and my channel's continuing to grow. I add videos every week, so check it out.
Anyways, this gentleman later won a settlement from the St. Louis Police Department for wrongful interrogation techniques. In any case, Gray's execution date
guys,
was
we're
set.
at my home turf. We're about 15 minutes from my house, but I live along all the big rivers.
Sorry guys, Gray's execution date was set by the Missouri Supreme Court for September 26, 2005. Governor Matt Blunt denied Gray clemency on October 25th based on a recommendation by the Missouri Board of Probation and Parole. The same day, the Supreme Court of the United States denied his motions to stay his execution. Gray asked that no member of his family witness the execution, which he described as murder. Although a female cousin and minister were present, the only witness for the victims present at the execution was Kevin Cummins, the uncle of the two girls. Gray also made no last meal request and gave no instructions for the disposal of his body. His final statement was, "I go forward now on wings, built by love and support of my family and friends. I go in peace of mind that comes from never having taken a human life. I forgive those who have hardened their hearts to the truth, and I pray they ask for forgiveness, for they know not what they do. This is not a death, it's a lynching." Also, there was a episode on TV of American Justice about this entitled "The Bridge Murders." So this has got quite a bit of media coverage, and some of this information, it can be found on Wikipedia in reference to I believe Marlon A. Gray. Reginald Clemens was, I think, one of the biggest gentlemen that you'll hear about in reference to this case. He's facing a retrial on charges of raping and killing two young sisters on the Chain of Rocks Bridge in 1991. He's requested a speedy trial under state law. The request means Clemens would have to stand trial by August 19th. In court on Wednesday, St. Louis Judge Rex Burleson tentatively scheduled jury selection to begin July 18th, but told Clemens he could still change his mind if he needed more time. In any case, this was published in 9/24/2016. I found that information on the internet. So it's just a horrible story.
It's like a VW sign. Anarchy. VW.
So anyways, it's a terrible story.
Along this bridge, like I said, is where that gentleman threw these girls off. So who knows? Maybe this bridge is haunted. Maybe I should
Terrible
come back
story.
here at night if it's open and try to come on it.
Two girls were raped,
I don't really
murdered.
believe in hauntings, but some of you might see something you think might be paranormal. Heck if I know. I don't really claim to know whether there is or not. I just haven't seen anything that proves its existence to me, and I don't have a problem with anybody else believing in whatever they want to believe in.
So you probably saw the manhole cover shots. They were forced down the manhole covers down onto the piers and then fell in the water, something to that effect. And they were also sexually assaulted, and one of the cousins was robbed. And anyways, we'll move on to the history of the Chain of Rocks Bridge now. I found some information about the history. It's not very hard to find. It's a very old bridge. It spans the Mississippi River on the north edge of St.
We're
Louis.
coming up to the castle. There's actually two of them.
The eastern edge of the bridge is on Shoto Island.
Jesus, are you kidding me? It says jump and something, this, something.
So the eastern edge of the bridge
Who writes this?
is on Shoto Island in Madison, Illinois, while the western end is on the Missouri shoreline. The bridge was for a time the route used by US 66, Route 66, to cross over the Mississippi. Its most notable feature is the 22-degree bend occurring at the middle of the crossing. I'll show you guys that too. Originally a motor route, the bridge now carries walking and biking trails over the river. A new chain of rocks bridge carries vehicular traffic to the north. The old route to the bridge is now called Chain of Rocks Road and ends near Roman Road. There's parking available. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 2006. The bridge's name comes from a large shoal or rocky rapids called the Chain of Rocks. You can see those in the water. When I point out in the water, you'll see some, kind of waves, disturbances.
See, the bridge has a bend in it. It bends around that way. It curves.
You'll see disturbances in the water caused by those rocks, which made that stretch of the Mississippi extremely dangerous to navigate. Because of a low water dam built by the Corps of Engineers in the 60s, little of the Chain of Rocks is visible today except during extreme low water conditions. After 1940, only a single impediment prevented the maintenance of a safe, reliable 9-foot navigation channel on the Mississippi River from St. Paul, Minnesota to New Orleans. This impediment, known as Chain of Rocks Reach, was a 17-mile series of rock ledges that began just north of St. Louis and was extremely difficult and dangerous to navigate. In the late 40s and early 50s, the Army Corps of Engineers built an 8.4-mile long canal to bypass this treacherous reach. To ensure adequate depths in the pool below the old lock and dam 26, a non-movable low-water dam was constructed just downstream of the old bridge, and the lock was installed at the south end of the canal, known respectively as Dam number 27, also called Chain of Rocks Dam, and locks number 27, or Chain of Rocks lock. So these castles have to do with that. You can see the disturbances in the water when I showed you the shoreline. So this was like the only bad spot in the 40s left on the Mississippi River, all the way from Minnesota to New Orleans, is right near my house, and also the canal that was built to bypass it. I live in a very historic area. The area was chosen as a site for the St. Louis Waterworks in 1865, with construction beginning in 1887, and a water plant opened in 1894. A filter plant was added in 1915, which at the time of its construction was the largest filter plant in the world. The Chain of Rocks Bridge was privately built as a toll bridge in 1929, so this bridge is from 1929 that we're on, at a cost of $3 million, and later turned over to the city of Madison, Illinois. The current owner of the bridge, anyways, that's the information. Go look up the Chain of Rocks Bridge. I appreciate your support. Look up Reginald Clemens. Look up Chain of Rocks Murder. You can find this information out. Please share my videos, like my videos, comment on my videos. Your support is appreciated. I know my editing isn't perfect all the time, but I'm very busy. I own a business and have a lot